Hi. For those of you I have not met, my name is Elizabeth Lowe, and I am the director of the Summit Head Start 0 to 5 program. If you're watching this video, most likely you are working in a program that is serving either early Head Start or Head Start children, and chances are you're a classroom teacher. One of the requirements for participating in Head Start is the home visit. So teachers are required to do 2 home visits a year. Typically that's in the fall or the spring, but those timelines might get a little bit messed up if a child enrolls in the middle of the year. Just remember, you're required to do 2 home visits. Home visits are an important activity and an important part of the Head Start program because we really want to nurture and foster the relationship between a child care center and the home. We want parents to realize and understand that their involvement in their child's education is super important and that we really value what the parents have to say about the child's development. One of our key philosophies is that parents really are a child's first and best teacher. Again, if you're watching this video, you're probably sitting in a meeting or in a staff room because your director asked you to watch this. Hopefully the director printed off some forms for you to look at too while we're talking. So I'm going to go through those as well. The first one is an overview of home visits. And this just goes over some background about why we do it and some things to remember when you're setting them up. When a child enrolls in your program, our goal is to do the first home visit within 45 days. If the family speaks a language you don't speak, you can always call family engagement specialists at our office to help you on the visit. And if it's your first home visit and you just want someone to come along with you, they're also available to do that as well. Sometimes our early childhood mental health consultant is asked to come along because the parent has expressed some concerns around child behavior or would like some tips around routines, and that's something our mental health consultant can also help with. When you set it up, again, if the family speaks a language that you don't speak, you're probably going to need the family engagement specialist to help set up the visit. If the family speaks a language you do speak, you are more than welcome to go ahead and start that ball rolling and figuring out when the visit's going to happen. Just remember, if there are more people involved, it's going to take a little bit more coordination and figuring out a time that everybody can make it. In a perfect world, all the home visits would take place at a child's home because it gives you, the teacher, an opportunity to see where this child is most of his or her life. It also values that space the child's coming from, and when you walk into the home, you're really on their turf, and you're there to learn about their family. Sometimes we do run into instances where a family doesn't feel comfortable having people in their home, and it might take some time as you build that relationship with this child and family for them to feel comfortable having you in their home, and that's okay. If a family is hesitant or has reservations about you coming to their home, or they're in transition and aren't really feel like they have a space that they can have the visit, you can hold the visit at the center or at a park or at a library, someplace that the parent feels comfortable with. Visits typically take about an hour. Remember, this is your chance to learn about the family, and the child and the family is really the focus of the visit. We do have some forms. For our monitoring and for our reporting, we're required to have some documentation that the visit took place. So what we have discussed with teachers and directors working in our program is to provide kind of a menu or a variety of forms that you can choose from, because depending on your relationship with the family, at what time the child enrolls in the program, you might feel that different forms are better for different visits. So I'm going to go through those briefly. The first form was designed really for being a first home visit. So take a chance, take some time to look over this form and read through the questions. It is really designed to help you to ask some leading questions. You'll go on some visits where the parents will have no problem talking to you and giving you information about their child and their home. You'll go on other visits where the family might be very shy. So these questions are designed to really get the conversation going. If you feel like you can't get through the whole form in a visit, we're okay with that. We really believe that the home visit, the most important piece is starting to build that relationship. So if you go on a first home visit and you bring this form thinking we're going to do this whole thing, but the parent has this burning concern and you spend most of your visit talking about their concern, that's totally okay. But please do at least complete the top of it and send it to the Early Childhood Options office so that we have a copy and can document the visit took place. So that's the first form. Another form was developed for kind of a second visit. So if you've already done the first form or feel like you know all that information about a family and feel more comfortable with this Visit B form, you're welcome to take that. One thing that's new, if you've been working with our program for a while and you've been doing home visits, one thing that we have put together is a cancellation form. So this provides us some documentation if you tried. Our expectation is you try at least 3 times to schedule a visit with the family. And we know things happen, and we know sometimes these visits don't happen, but we need some kind of record of that. So this form is called the Home Visit Cancellation Form, and it's just a place for you to jot down your notes. It could be you schedule a visit and you go and nobody's home. It could be you schedule it and somebody has to cancel. And so, you know, we're all human and we're busy people and things happen. So if that's the case, just document it and know that our expectation is you try 3 times. And after that 3rd time, you can fill this out and file it away and then start having conversations with the parents, letting them know, okay, it didn't work this time period, but we'll be hoping to do a home visit with you in the next 6 months or so. Another form that we've included in the forms is the Summit School District Community Preschool Partnership Form. So if you're doing a home visit and it is close to the time where a child will be transitioning to kindergarten, this form was created for community child care partners and even school district preschool programs to have a form to include information that we think a kindergarten teacher would want to know before that child starts. It does ask the parent to sign off on it so that they're comfortable with you sharing information with the kindergarten teacher. But if the timing works for your visit, and again the kiddo is going to be transitioning to kindergarten, then this might be the form you want to take. One of the reasons we decided it might be good to have different forms is we know you guys are also doing parent-teacher conferences. So depending on when those are offered and when you have a visit, and your school might say, this parent-teacher conference we're all going to share ASQ information and talk about that. Or this parent-teacher conference, we really want everyone to show gold data. And that's great. And we do at our program collect that information as well, what you're sharing with parents for parent-teacher conferences. But if the parent missed the parent-teacher conference or the timing works out that's not the time, you may want to bring along some gold information to the visit. You may want to print that parent-teacher conference form and bring it on a home visit. Again, it's going to vary so much with your relationship with the family, how long that child's been at the school, concerns you may have, or concerns the parent may have expressed to you before the visit. All of these forms are posted on the Early Childhood Options website. If you go to earlychildhoodoptions.org and then you click on the tab that says Head Start, and you'll get a drop down, click on where it says resources and reports, and on that page there's a lot of forms. Scroll down and there's a section with resources for teachers, and you'll find all these forms. We also post other materials that you might find helpful before the visit. For example, this form is Connecting to Early Care and Education, Family Engagement Tip Sheet, and it just talks about some cultural considerations you might want to think about before you go visit a home. In our world, folks are coming from all different backgrounds, and families look different and homes look different. So these are things you might want to think about before you go on a home visit, and just to keep your mind open and know that the home that you're visiting for this child might look very different than the home you grew up in. So those are the forms. If your program comes up with a form that you think is more appropriate or you would like to share, please send it to me and I'll post it on our website. So it's a form that partners at other sites can use if they're on a home visit, and we will take the next year or so to evaluate how well these forms are working, and if there's some forms or some questions that the feedback is like, this doesn't work for us, maybe we'll make a revision once a year, and we can update the forms so that they're working better for you guys and for the families. So that's my quick spiel on home visits and Head Start. We really appreciate all you do for these families. In a perfect world, and if you had more time and your program had more time, we should be doing home visits for everybody. So we feel very privileged that your program's making this work for the Head Start and early Head Start children. It really is a best practice, and I would say feedback I have received from teachers around the home visit say it's one of the most important things they can do to really build that relationship with families and understand where that child is coming from. A lot of kids will want to show you their room, or they're going to want to show you their favorite toy. It's a pretty special time to have your teacher come to your home, and that action speaks volumes to the families and to the children. And if at any time you have questions about home visits, you're welcome to call me, and you're welcome again to consult with our family engagement staff who are kind of pros at home visits. And I hope it goes well. We'd love your feedback, and we hope you have a super great year. Thanks.
So one of the greatest parts about home visitation is that you have the opportunity to go into this family's home to be where they're the most comfortable. It's a great opportunity to actually get to know the family in a deeper way. So the first thing that I would recommend is to show gratitude. Thank them for the opportunity to be in their home, and give them some compliments. If you see some things that you want to give them a compliment about, or you've noticed a way that they interact with their child that's really impressive to you, make it known so that they feel appreciated, that they feel that this is a friendly visit where you are getting to take the time to get to know them, and that you value their participation. Sharing with them too that they are the expert on their own child and that you are there to learn from them is also a great way to break down barriers and help them feel appreciated and to build a relationship between you and them for the rest of the school year.
It is always good to remember that you're going to this home to visit the family and not only one child, and to know all the family. And if you're taking any activities for this child, it is good to include the siblings, because they are part of the family.
A tip that I would give you is to read through the paperwork beforehand so you are familiar with the questions you're going to ask essentially to the families, just so that it feels a little more organic and conversation-like. It will be more comfortable for you as the teacher as well as the family if it is posed as more of a conversation. The other thing I would suggest is be prepared, but also be prepared for it to go a different direction, and just allow whatever the family feels that they want to tell you or talk about, allow that to happen It doesn't matter if you don't get the paperwork filled out exactly to T. The idea is to get to know your families on a different level, a level outside of the classroom, so you can best support them and their child in the classroom.